Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Rusa Aftab from Department of Botany, Lahore College, Women University, Lahore. The course I am taking is Plant Ecology for PS3 class and semester is 6. The topic I am going to discuss today is effect of carbon dioxide on plant ecological interactions. So, carbon dioxide is a chemical compound composed of one carbon and two oxygen atoms. It is often referred by its formula CO2. It is present in the Earth's atmosphere at a low concentration and acts as a greenhouse gas. In its solid state, it is called as dry ice. It is a major component of the carbon cycle and major contributor towards photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide is a colorless gas with a density about 60% higher than that of dry air. It occurs naturally in Earth's atmosphere as a trace gas. The current concentration is about 0.04%, that is 412 ppm by volume, having risen from pre-industrial levels of 280 ppm. Natural sources include volcanoes, hot springs, geysers, and it is freed from carbonate rocks by dissolution in water and acids. Because carbon dioxide is soluble in water, it occurs naturally in groundwater, rivers and lakes, ice caps, glaciers and seawater. It is also present in the deposits of petroleum and natural gas. The plants require carbon dioxide to conduct photosynthesis. The atmospheres of greenhouses may be enriched with additional carbon dioxide to sustain and increase the rate of plant growth. But its optimum quantity or concentration is very much important, because at a very high concentration, 100 times atmospheric concentration or greater, carbon dioxide can be toxic to animal life. So, raising the concentration to 10,000 ppm or higher for several hours will eliminate pests such as whiteflies and spider mites from the greenhouses. Now, what are the photosynthetic sites within the plant? In plants and algae, photosynthesis takes place in the organelles called chloroplasts. A typical plant cell contains about 10 to 100 chloroplasts. This tissue is called the mesophyll, meaning middle leaf, and comes in two forms, the palisade mesophyll and the spongy mesophyll. These mesophyll cells are also called as parenchyma cells. Most photosynthesis takes place in the palisade mesophyll, which is conveniently located at the top of the leaf just under the epidermis through stomata and guard cells. No guard cells. Guard cells are bean-like structures present in the opening or stoma, supporting or guarding this aperture-like structure. Stomata are tiny openings or pores in plant tissues that allow for gaseous exchange. They are typically found in plant leaves but can also be found in some stems. Specialized cells known as guard cells surround stomata and function to open and close stomatal pores present in the epidermal surface of leaves. Two kidney-shaped cells known as guard cells guard the pores. The inner wall of the guard cell toward the stomata is thicker as compared to the outer wall. They control water loss and gaseous exchange by opening and closing the stomata. They allow water vapor and oxygen out of the leaf and carbon dioxide into the leaf. Each stoma is surrounded by a pair of sausage-shaped guard cells. Now, the function of guard cells. How do the guard cells react to the availability of water? When there is water deficiency or scarcity of water, the guard cells will close, or in case of vice versa, the lots of water is there, guard cells will open to enter the water and maximum photosynthesis will take place. Guard cell properties and their relationship with the stomatal control. The thickness of cell wall varies in the ventral side, that is 0.5 micron meter, and thicker dorsal part of the guard cells. It contains chloroplast and can perform light reactions, no dark reaction, because there is the lack of key enzymes for the dark reactions. Structurally isolated from epidermal cells for the lack of plasmodesmata that water and ions transmit only through cellular pathway. thus help to build a water gradient. The little volume, little amount of water absorption or loss controls through stomatal apertures. Then what is the mechanism behind the opening and closing of stomata? The uptake of calcium into the cytosol. Whenever there is high rate of calcium uptake in the cytosol, the stomata will close. Depolarize the membranes. Whenever the membranes are in the depolarized state, the stomata will close. Anion channels open and chloride and malate released from the vacuole. In this situation also the stomata will be closed. Potassium channel opened and potassium released from the vacuole and subsequently into subsidiary cells will also affect the closing of stomata. Except these, some other factors like osmotic potential increase, water potential increase, water comes out from vacuole, decreased turgor pressure, the stomata will ultimately close in all these four conditions. Then what are the factors behind stomatal aperture influence? Light, temperature, carbon dioxide and water content are all equally contributing towards the working of stomata, but here our concern is to study the in the previous slide. Carbon dioxide concentration decrease, stomata will open for the uptake of more carbon dioxide. When there is increased carbon dioxide concentration, the stomata will be closed. The response of the stomata is to the intercellular concentration of carbon dioxide in the guard cells. Guard cells are basically meant for the control of opening and closing of stomata. When carbon dioxide level decrease or photosynthesis is needed, guard cells will take up water and swell to open the pores in order to take more carbon dioxide. When carbon dioxide level increases on the water stress override the photosynthesis, the guard cells will close. So guard cells will control the movement of carbon dioxide by opening and closing of stomata either in the presence of water or absence of water. Now, what are the ecophysiological effects of changing atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration? Atmospheric carbon dioxide levels have increased substantially during the past century due to exhaustive use of fossil fuels, etc. Plant growth is enhanced under high carbon dioxide concentrations. Current increase in carbon dioxide follows a 300-year warming trend during which surface and atmospheric temperatures have been recovering from the global chill of the Little Ice Age. So, the melting of glaciers is playing a compensatory role to balance the temperature that is increased during overcombustion of fossil fuels and industrialization. Ongoing rise in the air's carbon dioxide content causes increase in global temperature. The introduction of additional carbon dioxide into the atmosphere can be considered as an effective increase in radiative energy input to the earth because of the increasing infrared capacity of the atmosphere. The increase in precipitation extremes almost everywhere under the scenario of doubled atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration. Then functional significance of carbon dioxide fixation. Carbon dioxide fixation, that is alternatively known as Calvin cycle. Carbon dioxide fixation or carbon assimilation is the conveyance process of inorganic carbon to organic compounds by living organisms. The most prominent example is the photosynthesis, although chemosynthesis is another form of carbon fixation that can take place in the absence of sunlight. Different types of CO2 fixation pathways are there, but most common among them is the Calvin cycle. The primary function of the Calvin cycle is to make organic products that plants need using the products from the light reactions of photosynthesis and ultimately produce ATP and NADH. Response of photosynthesis to environmental factors. The main variables which affect photosynthesis are light, water, CO2 concentration and temperature. Photosynthesis would stop because oxygen is needed for carbon dioxide to react with glucose. Photosynthesis would continue because oxygen and carbon dioxide are products and not reactants of photosynthesis. Without enough light, a plant cannot photosynthesize very quickly. Even if there is plenty of water and carbon dioxide and a suitable temperature, but no enough light, photosynthesis will stop. Increasing the light intensity increases the rate of photosynthesis until some other factors are also favoring the reaction. Carbon dioxide and oxygen are the most important gases for living organisms. CO2 is vital for use by plants in photosynthesis, in which plants use carbon dioxide and water to convert the sun's energy into food energy. Here is a list of recommended books which will help you to prepare the notes. Thank you.